think one can say that if there's anything that is constant, and that would be change.
Yes.
That's something that is a given.
Yes.
Although as people, as human beings, we like stability, right? We like consistency. We like to go back to something, even though it may be 20, 30 years ago, and say, oh, I remember how great that was.
Yes.
And you come to realize, oh, that place has changed.
A lot.
Our favorite cafe or breakfast place is not now a dry cleaner or something else. I mean, the only thing that we could rely on is the fact of change. I mean, even Michelle Obama says, unless you move, let's get going.
Let's get going.
Our so-called static life gives us poor health. So we have to keep on moving in order to stay healthy.
Yes, sir.
So I see in our American Baptist churches, particularly in youth ministry, is that they may still be doing things that are quite traditional.
Right.
Perhaps having a youth group meeting on Sunday night.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily where young people are today. The world has moved on. Public education for our adolescents is quite different from the old days of what we used to call the Baptist Youth Fellowship. And so unless institutes like Theology, Action, and Understanding begin to help our local churches explore the role of faith in young persons' lives, the young person may not ever achieve a point where they understand the role of faith in who they are. Why did God create me in the first place?
Exactly.
Am I supposed to be only doing what I know, or is there a potential that I have yet to realize? Because in the long run, the Church of Christ will be revitalized.
Yes.
Because if we have more and more people who understand who they are as people of faith in our churches, and more specifically in our communities, their faith and work, faith in action,
Yes.
faith in the marketplace, in the town square, in City Hall,
Yes.
will eventually make a difference in who we are and in the making of what this country can be. The ability to think critically and make moral decisions that will make a difference in the world. Okay, and I think that's at the basic of what we want to do in life, right? Is to not send young people out into the world without any kind of what one Secretary of Education once said, a moral compass.
Yes.
Okay, that that moral compass helps the individual to figure out what is right from wrong. So whether it's sports or in the workplace,
Yes, sir.
or choosing what to buy, or even what to eat,
Yes, sir.
every action that a person takes has a ethical, moral implication to it, which is a powerful, you can say, footprint on the world. I felt like every time I got behind the pulpit to preach, I'm asking people to be more generous than they would be willing to put up in the offering plate.
Correct.
I ask them to be more loving than they are able to love their neighbor. I'm asking them to be more caring and more compassionate than they are able to be caring and compassionate, especially to people whom they see as their enemies.
Yes.
Okay. So then I came to the realization that I want to live into what was God's original intent. Even though probably not in my lifetime
Yes.
will we see God's creation as human beings and all the animals in the world and the natural resources that God has given us to live in that kind of a harmony that God originally created. But my point is that I had to live with myself. It was a personal moral issue for myself. that if I'm asking people to be more than what they're able to be, then I need to be true to myself to say that, look, I have a choice here. I want to live into that vision of what God originally created, which is to live in harmony with each other. Our lives make a difference, make sense, when we do things, say things, live out our lives that has a high level of moral integrity. Our lives are a testimony of who we are. And so the way I live and what the way I behave, both privately and publicly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is a testimony of what I believe in. And I think that sits well with people. This is what we all ascribe to do, what we strive to become, is to be the kind of people who have a high level of personal authenticity that says, wow, you know, that person does live out what he says, because that's what really convinces people of who you are and what you have to say.